I'll share the presentation, guys. Right? Okay. All right. Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our presentation on the Electa Clarity case for ENGCOMM 2021, and we're Team 6. So first of all, we would like to introduce ourselves, the team members. We have Paolo, who is in the engineering department, Juan Paulo, who is in the engineering department as well. Me, myself, I am Sylvia. I am in the finance and economics department, and Luis is in the finance department. So without further ado, I will leave the floor to my colleague.
All right. Okay. So the table of contents, how this is going to work. We're going to start with engineering. We're going to show you guys a new design for the scanner that we're going to be implementing for the different parts of the body, not only the prostate. That's going to be starting the engineering. Then marketing plan. Then the finance team is going to take over. We're going to introduce the financial plan they have, and then conclusions. We're going to start off with engineering. So for engineering, we're implementing a new part, a new design for having the scanner in different parts of the body, especially around the chest and the abdomen. So how is this going to work? So basically, we're going to have the scanner on the top part of this part, and it would be easier to scan the body. I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. First of all, the way it's going to work is we're going to remove the scanner, and we're going to take off the scanner and the pole holding it. You take it off, then place this new part on top of the scanner on the hole, on the surface that moves around between the patient's legs. And then you put we're going to implement a way to put the scanner and the pole on one of those 9 holes that we implemented in our design. So now off with the material, Pablo.
The material we chose to build our system is aluminum. The reason behind this, our decision, is because aluminum is about 1/3 the weight of steel, making it more like it is stronger. And since it is very lightweight, we can make it very thick without adding weight. So that's why we decided to choose aluminum for our product.
All right. So, and coming with this design, it's a lot of adjustability. So it depends a lot in the patient's height, their width, and everything included. So for example, when it has to do with the patient's height, we make it shorter, medium, and long. So we're going to implement a system in which it could get shorter, longer, and in the medium size, depending on the people's height. All right. And also with the people's width, and depending on which part of the body part. So the system that we implemented was doing 9 holes, 3 in the top, 3 in the middle, and 3 in the bottom. So depending on the style that the person wants to implement, depending on their abdomen, their chest, the person is going to be able to place the pole with the scanner in any of these 9 holes, which is going to make it easier for any body type. So benefits, Wampa?
The benefits, our new system, like as Paulo was saying, is that adjustability. The system will make us able to adjust the width. So it's gonna able help us adjust the height and the width. Also, since this is considered like universal design, because we're gonna implement not only to be used to scan the for the perineum area, we're gonna also scan the upper and lower parts of the thoracic and abdominal area. So this design will permit us that. And also, this is going to be non-invasive. So this design was made to scan like the both upper and lower parts of the body without the need of implanting the radio beacons in the skin.
All right.
Yeah, so now we're going to move on to the marketing and finance part. First of all, we divided the market into multiple categories, multiple factors. The first one was the industry. So we decided to look at our main competitors. So the main players that are in this market are Varian Medical System. They were in the case, and they're their main competitors. There are actually more than 10 competitors in the industry, which because the opportunities are very large, since they can still go to emerging economies, and governments are investing intensively in these sectors. Health is obviously an inelastic cost that consumers are willing to bear. So yeah, we thought it was important to talk about that. The main suppliers for this industry actually don't really have bargaining power, because the consumers of these products, they can go above, like they can go ahead and buy their products in emerging markets. Although changing suppliers is very hard, because it includes switching costs, which is basically switching to another supplier, and that's very expensive in this industry. And it also includes, like, the cost is also about forward integration, which occurs when a supplier decided to become a direct competitor in the market that it was supplying. We also thought it was important to talk about demographics, because there is the population is growing, and it is expected that the demand for consumption goods and services, especially medical services and devices, will increase. We've seen that approximately 39.5% of men and women will be diagnosed with cancer at some point during their lifetime. So these were statistics that were taken from 2015 to 2017, because the case was during that time. And from those 39.5%, according to the National Cancer Institute, about 50% of the cancer patients receive some type of radiation therapy during their treatment. We decided to divide the market in two segments, which were the number of hospitals and the number of university sectors. And the second market segment, which was included in the case, but we didn't really went in depth, was private clinics, because we thought that we would focus more in the first market I mentioned. The technological forces in this industry are obviously that over the last decade, the radiotherapy devices market has seen significant technological advancement, which have helped the industry have find more effective and low cost and easy to use products. The advancement, for example, in the 2D or 3D radiotherapy with notably real-time imaging, such as the product that we're offering, has enabled high conformity of radiation to the target, which obviously has improved tumor control. So these products that provide these benefits are expected to have a very high growth potential. And yes, we're going to talk now about the economical factors. So the global radiotherapy market is valued at $4,723 million in 2016, and it is expected to reach $7,222 million by 2023, which is a compounded annual growth of 6.2% from 2017 to 2023. The market is obviously driven by the growth of the number of cancer patients, which is increase in geriatric population, rise in adoption of radiotherapy devices and procedures. So finally, the estimated national expenditures for cancer care in the United States in 2018 was about $150.8 billion. So these costs are expected to increase, obviously, as the population ages and have more cancer.
Moving forward, we're going to talk about how we segmented the market. So we had two market segments, which were homogeneous within and heterogeneous throughout. And they have distinct characteristics, behaviors, and needs. And we consider that our product would add value to both target segments. So our segmentation variables were ownership of organization, we considered private or publicly owned, and specialization, which was behavioral. So we considered institutions with multidisciplinary treatments, including surgery and cardiac, etc., and privately owned by the physician, and they offer competitive treatments specifically for cancer. Moving on, please. Okay, so the two target segments given in the case were hospitals and university centers, which are publicly owned institutions that have multidisciplinary treatments. And the second one was private clinics, which are privately owned and focus specifically on cancer patients. Continue, please. So our targeting was both private and public healthcare organizations, non-specialized and specialized in cancer treatments, have patients that would benefit greatly from our product. However, the target segment that would find most added value and clarity is the specialized private clinics in the USA. They seek to provide a personalized and very attentive service to their patients and focus on cancer treatment. This segment would be most interested in having state-of-the-art equipment to treat cancer, and therefore would be most likely to invest in our product with the purpose of targeting the second market segment. Our firm decided on the following marketing campaign. Continue, please. So our proposition was, our product distinguishes itself from our competitors because it offers imaging, while Calypso offers only coordinates. Additionally, clarity is non-invasive, whereas Calypso requires radio beacons implemented in the patient. So this is our positioning statement. To private clinics specialized in cancer treatment who strive to provide their patients with excellent personalized care, Clarity is an innovative state-of-the-art health appliance that allows doctors to view a clear image of the radiotherapy targeted area for enhanced treatment precisions, more revenues for your clinic, and faster results for your patients. Moving on, please. Finally, we arrive at the financing. To be honest, we didn't have enough time to dedicate to this section. However, what we would have done is we would have calculated the WACC for our company, and we would have used the WACC to calculate a discounted cash flow model with the expected future cash flows for our company, or more specifically for this project.
We also didn't have time to include main sources of financing, which we were thinking of, which are subsidies from the government, since this is an industry that is really subsidized by the governments in multiple countries. We had time, though, to look at one of them, which is one of the subsidies provided by the Canadian Cancer Research, which is up to $100,000 to $200,000 per year.
So unfortunately, guys, your time is up. The 15-minute is done. So we'll now proceed to the Q&A section where the judges could ask you guys some questions in order to retouch some points that they want to. So the Q&A starts now, and whenever the judge have a question, they can ask.
Maybe I can start. So don't worry that you run out of time. This is okay. You know, as you do more of these, you'll get better. Don't worry. I did have some questions on the so on the financials. You ran out of time, so I'm not clear on. Did you have some indicators on, you know, how if this would be a profitable solution, or what would, or you didn't have time to explore any of those aspects?
Well, we did know that in the case we were provided with the number of products that were sold per year, which were around 450 products. Well, those were in 2014. So we would have done an analysis which was gonna, like, we were gonna do a sensitivity analysis where we were gonna have a pessimistic, optimistic, and realistic scenario, but also a DCF file, which the discounted cash flows. We just ran out of time, but it was gonna basically be based on the increase of the population, of the demand of the cancer patients, on a lot of statistics that were going to help us find, as Sylvia said, the what.
And you didn't think maybe you could have maybe added an appendix to your presentation in the question period to at least show partial numbers that you did some of the work, but you don't have any of that.
Yeah.
Right? That's all right. Don't worry.
Well,
so I'll let the next person ask their questions then.
Hey, I could go next. Paulo and Juan, I guess you shared the engineering part of this thing, so I have a few detailed questions. How did you work on the design to avoid the interference with the LINAC? I think that's a primary concern of the design.
Oh yeah, like this system, the LINAC, like it rotates around the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the height of this is gonna be like in between, like it's gonna be like a body height.
Okay.
It's not gonna like touch the panels that rotate.
Exactly. To add on that, yeah, it's basically going to be right above the person's body, so the scanner could touch his body or her body and clearly scan the abdominal and the chest area.
And this is entirely manual. The person attaches this prior to the patient being there, and then that device touches the body, I guess.
Correct. And the reason why we did this is because we wanted to do the easiest and most cost-efficient way to do this, and that's just adding one part, not creating a whole different device. So basically, it's just disattaching this part from the platform and just adding it into the part we created.
And you keep the tracker tool, the existing tracker tool. You just remove the whole unit from the existing post and attach it to your adapter.
Yes, that is the plan, to leave the tracker tool. But it will depend a lot on the researchers and the Elekta people who designed the scanner to tell us if it's going to be the same one or it has to have some different glitches for the prostate and the abdominal, because we know not all the body parts are the same. So there might be a chance that they change the scanner. But yeah, if it is the same scanner, then it would be disattached and then attached to the hole.
And is there adjustability after it's mounted when you have the patient there in place?
Yes. Right here, in this way, we decided that between the height and if the person wants to see the chest area, to scan the chest area or the abdominal area, that depends a lot. That will depend on the length of the part. So that's why we created this, in order to see which body part would be the one that they would be scanning. And that also is the reason why we did the nine holes. So if we want to see the left side of the chest area, then we have you put the scanner with the pole on the left side, depending on the width of the person. But yes.
Okay, I'll hand it over to Hanny for some questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Eric. So thank you all for the presentation. It was very nice and very interesting. So my main focus, since I'm a professor of engineering, is the engineering part. So I think I'll be asking you a lot of engineering questions. Of course, Eric asked a few that they wanted to ask, so thank you for answering them. First of all, my main general comment is I see no calculations, no dimensions over there, and that's very important when you're presenting something about engineering, which means when you say 9 holes, I want to see why did you pick 9? Why not 12? Why not 16? Why didn't we go down to 6? So your choice of 9 need to be backed up with calculations, curves, design. You need to show me why is it 9, okay? So as this is a general remark that I'm going to ask you a few questions about that. So first of all, why 9 holes?
Okay, I could say this one. The reason why we chose 9 holes was the spacing. We didn't want it to be too big or too small, because we know that the machine is going to be going around the patient. So we want it to be a small part, and we chose 3 columns, because left side, middle side, and right side, depending on the part that the person wants to scan. But yeah, the reason why we chose 9 is because of the area of the part.
Which part?
Of this one. Of this part, yeah.
So the area of the scanner that you scan with, right?
The scanner is going to be attached to one of these holes.
Yes. So again, did you do any analysis to prove that 9 would be the optimum number?
No, we didn't do any analysis. We just believed that was the correct number. Yeah.
Good. So now go back, please, Paulo, to your long, short slide.
Oh, yeah.
Now, engineering-wise, you cannot tell me long, short, and medium. We need to see dimensions, values over there. What do you mean by long? What do you mean by short? What do you mean by medium? So I needed to see over here dimensions for each one of them, so I can determine what range do you mean short, what range is medium, what range is long. Okay, guys? So this is very important when you present something, you show the dimensions of it. So what range of dimension are you speaking about when you speak about short, medium, and long?
With this slide, what we were trying to show was the adjustability to our new part, and showing that it is easily movable between, if a person wants to scan the chest area or the abdominal area.
Yeah, I understand. Sorry, maybe I didn't make my question clear. Between short and long, what is the range?
There's no range. There's no range. That was just visual.
But you don't have any average range of dimensions between short, medium, and long, so that we can have a guide of what do you mean by short, medium, or long?
No, we don't have.
I can hop in here.
Yeah.
But let's say our
That's
max.
Juan, right? Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So our maximum length is gonna be around 2.5 meters, and there's no and the shortest length is gonna be at where it starts, basically.
Sorry?
The
The
like if
shortest
you,
would be?
the shortest will be around let's say 0.5 meters. Like we didn't specify it here. We just did this as like a visual aid. Right now we made us realize that we needed to have these measurements, but
Okay.
it passed like everything so fast that we
Okay.
didn't.
You also mentioned, Juan, that you used aluminum because it's lighter weight than steel, but you also mentioned it's going to be stronger. Can you please verify about the strength of aluminum that you want to make it stronger than steel?
My point was that we chose aluminum because we're trying to make something like the same strength as steel, but since it is going to be carrying the probe, we need something light.
Okay, so
We-
aluminum would
and-
be light, but making it as strong as steel. This is where I wanted to see, like, how do you propose you're going to do that? That's what anyone would tell you about the material. In order to make something of aluminum and make it as strong as steel, now where it's going to be challenging. Understand my point? Because you mentioned it in your presentation, so I have to see, okay, how are you
yeah.
planning to do that to make
Oh
something
yeah,
of
yeah,
aluminum
like
as strong as steel?
yeah, my point, maybe I said it, but it wasn't intended to say that it was going to be as
Okay.
strong as steel, but
Okay.
it is going to be stronger and like
Actually, you said stronger than steel. That's why I stopped you over there.
okay.
No problems. Now, last thing before I move to the judges, like you should account for stability-wise for micro movement occurring during the operation of the probe. Did you guys think about that in your design? Any micro motions that would happen? What would happen in your own new design? Should you account with it stability-wise?
Okay, the reason why we didn't account in any micro
motions,
movements.
okay.
No, we didn't. But the reason behind why we did holes was for it to be in a steady spot. We didn't want something that could be easily adjustable for it to have minor movements. We just wanted, that's why it's holes and not like a part that it's easily movable one space to another. It's because we don't want micro movements.
Yeah, it's okay. Just that for the solution, it's like one of the requirements is that it has to be steady and it has to account for the micro motion, because as you need tissue can move, there's micro motions over there. I just wanted to know if you put this into your account. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I'll move if any of the other judges have more questions. Thank you, guys.
I don't have any further questions, only comments. So I think I'm okay.
Okay, I'll use up the rest of the time if we have any. Okay, Sylvia, I guess you were presenting when you were talking about strategy on the private clinics. How did you narrow it down to private clinics? Was it only financially driven on the organizations that were willing to pay, or is there another reason?
Since this is a product that is not necessary to promote or to conduct the treatment for cancer patients, it's just a complement, since it allows doctors to see an image. However, it is not completely necessary. We thought that specialized clinics for treating cancer would be most interested in the product and in paying the extra price that we would have charged for it. And that's how we came to the decision to focus on private clinics as our target market.
Okay, thank you. Louise, did you have an expectation on ROI or return on investment time for a clinic?
We did, but they were based on the financials that we didn't do well. So there were, I think in the last slide, Paulo, if you can go to that slide, we came up with something just to show we could find the ROI if we had more time.
You have just quickly, I think we're running out of time, but do you have a goal? Did you guys come up with a goal on what a reasonable ROI would be?
We wanted to have an ROI of less than 1 year, just because in the case it was stated that the other product was and had an ROI of 1 year. So we
Okay.
wanted to be competitive in that aspect.
Very good. I have no further questions.
Joseph, are we out of time?
So there's actually like a couple seconds left, but we are on schedule. So now you guys can move into the deliberation room in order to discuss about results. Thank you guys, Team 6, for the amazing presentation.
Is this you that puts us in this?
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And when we come back, we have a few comments for you guys, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Of course, we're all muted.
No worries. So right now the judges are gonna do their not deliberation, sorry, the feedback. So it's gonna last around 10 minutes.
This is the painful part. I'm just kidding. This is good. This is okay. Don't worry. I did have one thing I wanted to ask you, though, which is going to have an impact on what my comments are going to be. Well, two things. Is this your first case competition?
It is my first case competition.
So all of you, it's the first. Okay, good.
Well, not for me. But
oh, not for you.
No,
okay, so I'm going to be hard on you. And did you guys have a coach to prepare for this, to help you prepare for this? Yeah, that's what I thought. So no. Okay, so that being said, you did an okay job, right? I mean, considering you didn't have a coach, it's your first time, and so and that in mind, you did okay, right? I've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen a lot of teams. So and I've seen a lot of people doing their first time and then come back a second and third. And I would very strongly encourage you to keep this up, because for a team that's doing this for the first time, you did really well. Okay. Now, of course, your grades are not going to be that super high, right? This isn't JMSB. We're going to be hard on you, but we encourage you. But I want you to know that really, for a first time, you did a really good job. Okay. Now, there's a couple of things. Of course, you ran out of time, and in your presentation, you spend like 2 minutes on the table of content, like your first slide or second slide. I mean, really, you only have like 15 minutes. Just ignore that. Okay, just move on. Because what we want to hear is really, I mean, you guys know what you're being judged on. And I mean, I want to hear the business. I'm the JMSB guy, and I want to hear about the business. We all want to hear about innovation. And of course, the engineers, I'm sure, will tell you lots about the engineering part. But I don't feel that was really well done. And some of the important aspects that you should have covered, I think, like, for example, finance is an obvious one, right? I mean, that's like super important. You're trying to sell me, imagine I'm the customer, and you're trying to sell me on this idea. And I'm pretty sure all of you are familiar with startups and elevator pitches, and this is basically what you're doing. Imagine you're in a startup event, and you want to sell us on your project so that we're going to invest in it. So I mean, that's really what I just wanted to get through. So for a first time, you did good, okay. But of course, as a professor, I would say, but I know you can do better. You're Concordia students. You can do better. So that's it for me.
All right, Henny, you want to go?
Eric, go ahead. No, go ahead, Eric.
Oh, okay. All right. So I thought it was very well spoken. Good teamwork. I think I think you split the tasks very clearly. So we understood who to address our questions to when we had our question time. So that's very good to have a team, roles well defined. I think you did miss a bunch of points for a first presentation of a design. I spent a lot of time in product design in my life, and you have quick moments to flesh out a design before your boss calls you into the office and say, tell me what you think. You need to get some of the basics down on concept, which are here are my major design parameters. They need to be visual, and like the question I had about how it interferes with the LINAC is critical. It's absolutely critical to have a visual of that. And I know you have a small amount of time, but in real life we have small amounts of time. So it needs to be aggressive. I liked the simplicity of your model. It really brought it down. So I think you were heading in the right direction, but you really need to quickly get those thoughts on paper. Whether if you don't have time to draw it, get it in there in text. It's a quick thing. that we can, as a, say, for the marketing of it, it just needs to be there. And if you didn't, almost like, let's move on to the finance side, you didn't have time to get there. It was good that you put like a kind of a roadmap there, but if you just put 2-3 lines there, it would have been crystal clear, even though you didn't have the math ready. You could have said, yes, a year ROI is good because that's what the competitor had from the case. You know, it just proves you read the material, got your requirements down. So that's the one comment I would have in these things, where you really need to nail the requirements. You need to talk about every single thing that's in the list of requirements, so that you don't lose points basically by missing what they listed in the case as considerations. They have 7 points. You need to hit them all. And it's critical that they're all there and explained. So that's for me. I thought you guys did great, and I think you have a lot of potential. Like I said, teamwork is all. If you guys work together, you're clearly, are smart individuals, and if you worked through this with the same team, and that's what I would recommend. I think Mark said the same thing, is keep this group of 4 together. You guys work great together. It looks good. You'll get better each time. So that's my comment. I'll hand it to Hanny.
Thank you so much, Eric. Actually addressed most of the points I wanted to address. So first of all, I'd like to thank every single one of you. It was a very great presentation, and you're all very professional, saying things in an orderly manner. Even in the question and answer, you will have very good charismatic way of answering, which is very good. You work as a group, very nice. I teach both in person and online, and I can tell it's very hard to do such a presentation online. So you did it online, congratulations. If you do the same presentation exactly in person, you'll see how much easier it will be. You will be like talking to one another, talking to us. It's like, would be much easier. So again, doing it online is a very challenging thing. You guys did it well. Now, I think Paulo and Juan are from engineering, Sylvia and Luis are from business. Am I correct? Good. So I know I addressed all my firing questions to Paulo and Juan, because one of the courses I teach, design, drawing of these things. I wanted to see there with your design, the innovation, the CAD drawings, the dimensions. You could have also shown it from different sides. You know what I mean? As Eric said very well, like how I would prepare for such a competition, because you know that's a pilot, that if you move on to the next level, you're doing it internationally, right? So how would you prepare for such a competition? You would put the 7 items in front of you and say, okay, we addressed the first one, the second one, the third, and so on. And then after you do that, you have the presentation next to you, which is the way you present. What you did in the presentation was very good, but it would have been brilliant and very impressive if you have those things with you. Understand my point? With animation, with those different designs, graphs. And again, Luis and Sylvia said very good things about finance. But at the end, you said you didn't have time for certain things. That's understandable for all the groups, but I'm just telling you how to make it brilliant. But again, thank you so much for the effort. It was very good. Please keep the group as it is, and hopefully next time you do even. But you did very well, but you'll do even much better. Okay? Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, I mean, you probably already know this, but I mean, this will help you get good jobs, right? If not that you need it, but this looks really good on your resume. So,
are we okay, Joseph, or are we out of time?
There's still around a couple of 30 or 40 seconds left, but I do have a couple of reminders. So on both of your schedules, you should have a Zoom link for redirecting you guys for the finals. It's very important for the judges who are judging the final to be there at 5 o'clock sharp, and for the participants who are participating to be there at 5:15.
Okay, do that.
Okay, but overall, as I say, thank you. I thank the judges and as well as the participants. You guys all did great, and I hope it was a wonderful experience to you guys as it was to me.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Good luck, guys, in your studies. And as I'm saying, like that would be, as everyone said, a very good experience. And hopefully next time, this is just the reason to do it together, so we make it very well. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thanks everybody else. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So when does the next one start, Joseph?
Yeah, they so far right now it's gonna be they're gonna have 5 minutes to prepare. So we're about to admit them in the room soon.
Okay.
Okay.
So hi, Team 10. So you guys have around like 4 minutes left to prepare. So 4 or 5 minutes to prepare. So it would be great if you guys could start on the dot at 4 o'clock with the PowerPoint setup. Thank you. So hey guys, I'm Joseph, Director of Operations. Sorry for the judges, going to be a little bit redundant, but your prep time is almost up, and you guys are essentially going to have a 15-minute presentation, and I will be presenting placards like this to prompt the team. At 15 minutes, no matter what, I will stop the presentations and I will ask you to stop presenting so we can ensure that our schedule is on time. So whenever you guys are ready, you may proceed. The floor is yours.
So can you all see my screen over here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Perfect. So, we're glad we participated in this. Me and my team, Iowa and Nick Wen, we come from a business background. So I just want to point this out, like technical part and engineering. We haven't had too much experience. Well, we didn't have any experience with the CAD system, so there's no actual technical part that we put in there. So I just want to point that out at least. So not further ado, I'm gonna start. Overview of the company. Well, Electa has been in the market for over 5 decades, and it has immense experience with machines. basically, we just want to overview of the company. So we know like it's trying to approach the market from a different perspective and go for machines that are less costly for people. And so that way, people don't have like as much debt, or they're not as stressed towards like making payment once they get cancer or other sickness or illness. So company wants to make healthcare more available to those that need it the most. What we did afterwards is we went over the number of deaths in the US per the specific cancer type. So right now, mostly Electa system was targeted again prostate cancer, but what we found out is that prostate cancer is not the main illness. So by having a different system that actually allows itself to target multiple places across the body, we can actually target different section and a different type of cancer that we can treat. And it's just to show that prostate cancer is not the main case of death in the US. It's mostly lung cancer. Nearly the voice to Highway.
Hi guys. So where is marketing going? Basically, our marketing is going towards better quality per cost, because as in this business, a lot of cost goes into R&Ds rather than the cost of productions. So even though when you look at the product, it doesn't cost that much to produce, but most of the cost is buried at the research and development process. And for us, it's important that we recover that cost. In that case, we have incentives to further improve and develop more product beneficial for more patients. And the treatment can be more accessible for more people, because for example, giving the example for the US market, a lot of times technical machines will be retired after about 5 years, and it will be beneficial for other countries or other provinces can use the machine after they retire, and we can further provide technical support for the product and provide basically that's it. Next slide.
So basically how it looks right now between EMRT and SBRT machines, we can see that EMRT cost is pretty much higher, and that's why we, like I said before, we're trying to go towards a sector which is more or less expensive. So as you can see, treatment costs are high, but safety is pretty high also in MRT, while SBRT have shown like more toxicity while performing the treatment. And so that's a something that must be taken into account while doing SBRT. But as for ROI, which we're going to explain a bit later on, EMRT is more moderate while SBRT is more high. So SBRT brings in more money compared to the EMRT scan. Nick, I'm gonna let you talk.
Yep. So just give some background for the IMRT. So basically, for both IMRT and SBRT are conducted on the same machines. And this kind of machine usually costs around $3 million USD, and they're quite expensive to maintain for in good shape. And while conducting for IMRT, usually the period of treatment is much more longer than the SBRT, which means a higher frequency for maintenance. So that brings us the advantage for SBRT, which is the duration of the treatments are usually shorter. Yeah.
Cool.
And what can our product improve SBRT over IMRT? So first, it's a reducement of treatment time. So we reduce the number of treatment to 5 days from usually 6 to 8 weeks. And the SBRT can actually treat more different types of tumors. SBRT allowed to treat not only the prostate cancer, but also many other cancers, including the lung cancer and many more. Yeah. And since the duration of the treatment is usually much shorter, so it brings lower maintenance costs and more operational costs.
You want to continue, Nick? Yeah, you had a pretty good understanding.
Yep. So while public hospital, like the large hospital like Johns Hopkins hospital usually have a large number of clients, I mean the patients, sorry, we offer the finance option for the private sector hospitals. And what we do is actually we offer the payment plan. It consists of 3 options. We have the down payment for 30%, 45%, and 55% accordingly, and we have different percentage on the commission. So as you can see, for the 30% of down payment, the hospital usually we ask for 4% of the commission, and respectively for 45% of down payment, we ask for 2.50% of commission, and for 55% we ask for 2% of the permission. And usually the ROI it's also around 1 year. By doing this, it helps the enterprises of the private hospitals to have a less stress on their cash flow. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass to Highway.
Yeah, next slide. Yeah, policy implications. Basically, the uncertainty in the reimbursement arenas and the change of payment method. Because before we're using method based on subscriptions, but now we're changing to a flat rate method, which is focusing on reduced healthcare costs. Because we know in the US, healthcare costs is the most important factor for their health insurance system. So if we can reduce the healthcare costs, it will be beneficial not only for us, but also for the insurance company, which can result in long-term long-term good relationship with the insurance company. And basically, yeah, like for example, the fee for service model is very, very expensive, has been proven before, and that could cost us some clients, especially in province in states that isn't wealthy enough to take the full method. Next slide.
So we're talking about the risk and mitigation for this product. So first, it comes with the use of the innovation of the technology. For our project, we didn't manage to have a well-designed engineering blueprint for the product, but from our perspective, we are thinking of implementing the wireless technology on the probe, which means it would be easier and it has the mobility to detect the tumor and have the function of creating grafts on different types of tumors on different places of your body. So the technology risk is we might encounter some problems with manufacturing processes, and the possible ways for mitigation is to communicate tightly with the suppliers, and always have a backup plan to restore to the original prop. And there's another type of risk is that the supply chain might not follow up with the manufacturer deadlines. And the way to mitigate this kind of risk is to have a good follow-up with the suppliers and to have this to reduce the possibility of getting things delayed in production. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you guys have 15 minutes. You guys can still go over for 5 minutes. If not, we can move over to the Q&A section. What did you say, Team 10?
Move over to the Q&A section.
Q&A segment? That's
Yeah.
fine with us. So we're gonna start the Q&A segment in right about now. So the Q&A segment is also going to be the same length as the presentation. So it's gonna be 15 minutes. So the time starts now.
So maybe I'll start again, other judges, if you're okay. So I think this was okay, but I wasn't really clear on what is the market for what you are proposing. Since you're looking to extend this to other types of cancers, can you explain a little bit of why you're doing this and what would be the implications, particularly on the financial aspects and the ROI of your project?
Minutes from now would
Um,
26 or 8 minutes.
I'll take this one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
That's
Go for it,
an
Nick.
amazing
Could you put it in
question.
timesheet?
So,
I'm
okay,
getting
sorry.
other sound. I think Joseph. Okay, thank you.
That's an amazing question. So in response to that question is we actually, the reason for us to expand our market is to by detecting and treat other types of cancer beside the prostate cancer. And the major market we are focusing right now is to focus on the private sector of the hospitals. And that's why we impose the payment plans for those small and private hospitals, so they have the ability to not using a lot of big chunk of their cash flow, but also at the same time they're able to taking the risk with us, so we can help them with a better to implement the better and newer technology at the same time. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm muted. But what does it do? How does it affect the the value of this project? How from a financial point of view?
Oh,
This decision of
that's an also interesting question. So they are comparing the ROI in the financial side. We haven't altered the ROI for a longer period, which means they're still having the same type of period comparing to the original prostate model, original product. And by having the mobility, we can easily detect any other tumors, not being like limited to the prostate cancer. So we can have like a larger patient base. So in the long run, we believe that there will be more treatments for possible patients, and by doing so, we can have like, because we take on commissions with the hospital, and we believe that by having this kind of policies would make which would like dramatically expand our patient base and have a larger market. Thank you.
I'm good. I'll let the next judge ask a few questions.
Right. Hanny, do you want to go?
That's okay. Go ahead, please, Eric. Go ahead, please.
All right. I always take your thunder, so. Yeah, very good. Thank you for presenting this. Since you guys are from all on the business side of this, I'll ask you a question because I'm from basically the innovation and engineering side of the industry. So now that you guys have an idea, you guys have spent a couple hours developing an idea and you have somewhere to go. Which is kind of typical to a lot of startup type things where you have what you want to do, where you want to go. What's your next step? How do you explain this to a technical team on what your actual plan is? How do you target that?
Just a quick question. You mean for how we target for building the actual product, or you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Just explain a couple first steps, what you would do when somebody says, yes, you have a great financial model. I want it, how do you engage the technical team? What's your strategy?
I'm not sure I'm following. Sorry for that. Like,
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand.
No, it's a complicated question. It's like you've done the innovation, you've figured out a business model, right?
Yeah.
Now you want to go put it in the market. You're going to have to talk to the creative team, an engineering team, a manufacturing team, a company that is going to build this product for you. Do you have a strategy on how you would bring this to the next step?
I will be able to answer that question. Thank you for the question. So we would like to apply the agile thinking. So when Apple found, when the CEO of Apple, Steve Jobs, creating the new iPod and the new iPhone, they didn't have the idea what is it going to be exactly. And by agile thinking, it's just like when we're trying to innovate things, we are not because the things doesn't exist. So we are trying to innovate it, and we don't have a great image of what exactly the product is going to be. So we will communicate tightly with our technical team, and we figure out different type of plans. So it's not going to be limited to one type of demo for our new product. And as long as it has the new functionality, and we can conduct an analysis to figure out which type of the case of the demo should be the most optimal and most efficient way for our company. And I hope
this add on it, like maybe figure out with the team, since now I understand a bit more the question. It's since the innovation part has been done, figure out with the technical team what are the challenges that we might encounter in the future, as well as what might be the implication of it. Since innovation, sometimes it's a bit like you're drawing something. It's never like or like you're building a car, right? So you're trying to figure out, is it going to be a viable product, and is it going to be realistic? Then would be to move on to the prototype. So work with the development team as well as the technical team closely, as to create a prototype of it and test it fully, just to make sure it actually works. So personally, and I think this englobes what Ai and Nick thinks is would be the best course of action after the innovation part is done.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you so much, Eric. First of all, thank you guys so much for the presentation. It was very nice. I just wanted to pinpoint that my questions would have been on the engineering part, but you said from the beginning that you did not do any engineering part because the three of you are mainly on the business side, right?
Yeah.
Now, for this, first of all, I just wanted for the presentation as a general remark, I felt the presentation is more dedicated on explaining the entire problem, but you didn't focus much on your innovative solution, even the business side. Okay, so when you try to present something like this as an advice, the first primary slides, yes, put it as a description of the problem, everything, which because we as judges already read it, but I want you to focus more on what are you guys doing, the innovation part, the business part, and everything. Your team is lacking 1 or 2 members of engineering, because I cannot ask you a lot of engineering questions. I would have asked about the design, how to implement it, all these things, but they're not there. One more thing about your presentation, I didn't see any references over there. You did put pictures, you did put tables, but there are no references. So take care when you put something like this, it means that those are your pictures that you took on your own. Those are your tables that you did. Are those your pictures and your tables?
We put actually reference at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So if you just show that those references are there, just as a comment for it to make your presentation much better and excellent. And you said that, I think Nick is the one who said that, for the wildest technology that you're going to do at the end. So design-wise, just I want to know from your point of opinion, what do you mean by you're going to implement the wildest technology, like the latest one? Do you agree about that?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the latest technology now to implement? So you did your research, you want to implement your latest technology. I know that this case was done in 2015, but what is the latest technology that you looked at from any perspective you want, engineering wise? What is the latest one to do right now?
Okay. that's an amazing question. So the first we looked up was the battery capacity for nowadays, if it is actually support the wireless function for the project. The problem actually, because we find it is actually doable, as the amazing companies as Tesla are doing, as they're developing like the most advanced batteries from the sound. Sorry, I forgot the word. From using the LI, and also we are trying to figure out if it is doable for the Bluetooth. I believe the Bluetooth, the most advanced Bluetooth right now, is still having the latency. So we were actually doubting about that, but I think by implementing the Bluetooth and the strong battery for this new type of probe, I think we should, in the future of 5 years, it's doable. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. My question was many, but you answered it. Good. Thank you, Nick. The thing is that you cannot just look on the top technology without thinking, can it be implemented in the medical field or not? So I cannot bring anything and put it in the medical field. It has to be, medical friendly, can be approved, all these things. So when you say I'm going to do the wildest, the strongest, the top of the notch technology, you have to add that this is approved medically and it can be used and it can be not going to be harmful and so on. So this is one point of view you need to think about. You cannot just go ahead and say, okay, Tesla is doing the best thing for batteries. I'm going to go but they're doing it for cars, doing it for something else. For the medical field, you need to, when you're doing a presentation, something on the medical field, that's the part about the ethics, the sustainability of these things that we're asking about. Can it be implemented in the medical field or not? So let's just say we reach in level number 10 when it comes to technology. I can implement until level number 4 only because this level is what we approve in the medical field to be ethically good, sustainable, and it's going to be working. Okay. But anyways, the presentation was good. Thank you guys very much. And as I'm saying, to make it much better, I would have loved to see 1 or 2 more members from the engineering side, because the engineering side of presentation is really lacking. But anyways, thank you all very much. I have no further questions, Time. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much for the
Thanks,
feedback.
Joseph.
And
Thank
we actually didn't think of that if it is doable for the industry in the medical. And we would, if it is possible, we would definitely look further and see if it is sustained for the medical sector for the new product. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm okay, Joseph. So see if any of the other judges would like to add more before we go into our questions.
So if anyone else have any questions, then now would be the time, or else we're gonna start setting up the breakout rooms for the judges. And as for the participants, you guys can just stay while the judge deliberate for 15 minutes.
I just have a question for pretty much all the judges. Maybe could you give us a bit of advice for other competition that we might have in the future?
Yeah,
personally,
we'll do that, Simon, after the delegation.
Okay,
We said to
after.
prepare 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Everything, and then we will, as Joseph explained, as we come back, each one of us would give you like all the points, the ideas that we have for all of you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So hi guys, now we have 10 minutes for the feedback. So if the judges could start now, that would be appreciated.
Okay, so I will start. I took permission from both judges, so I will start with you guys first. So each of the judges have a different background, but we're all into like industry, academics. We want to give you a feedback about what you've done. First of all, thank you so much for the presentation. It was very nice. The three of you are very professional, well-dressed, which is something very good to see. But first of all, I just want to deliver our idea. The first thing, we needed to see your input on the whole idea, not to take a long time to do the problem identification. Okay, so you could have lowered the amount of time on the problem identification, and then we needed to see your input on engineering. We needed to see your input on the business. Now, the competition, I think you missed the main thing. The main thing about the competition is in engineering design. And when we don't see an engineering design, you didn't hit the main part of the competition. I don't know if you've been told this or not, but that's the main issue. So the main issue is that the competition goes engineering design, and then you have to back it up with your business model, but there's no engineering design. Now, what if you don't have an engineering design student with you as a colleague? That's fine. You needed one or two, but if it's not there, at least you could have done research. That's what I asked Nick, for example. What do you mean by the top-notch technology? I needed to see a couple of slides there that says, nowadays, this has been done engineering-wise. So you guys, as business students, you could have done a research and showed us engineering-wise what is being done right now. Yes, you're not going to put your own input because you don't have engineering background, but I need to see what's there now engineering-wise. Now, the design of engineering not being there is a downside in the whole thing that you showed. However, you showed a good presentation. You tried to answer our question, which is very good. Yeah, take care when you're trying, again, the other judges, because they're experts there as well, going to speak about that. You're trying to market what you're saying, right? The slide that you showed about the death rates and how prostate cancer is the lowest or not that high, lung cancer is more, take care. We're not concerned about the number of deaths. We're concerned about a technology that can improve the life of the prostate cancer. Why other cancers as well are very important, yes, but what about how many men gets prostate cancer, the amount of men? So just focus on this type of cancer, focus on how many men gets it, and then yes, maybe the death rate is not the highest in all cancer, but what about the quality of life that you would like to offer this individual who got this prostate cancer? So take care when you try to market, don't hit one target and then lose all the other targets. You lost an interest of your audience when you said, okay, well, lung cancer has a higher death and we're going to focus more on it. Yeah, well, you can show that, but you can also market in a way that your device, your innovative device, can treat more than one type of cancer. It can hit other types of the body, but don't undermine prostate cancer, don't undermine any other types of cancer. I hope that my point is clear for everyone, okay? Now, again, when we go to this presentation as a whole, when you're given, as an advice, when you're given 15 minutes, you should be pushing around, like you should be quarreling with Joseph, okay, we're going to take 17 and you should hide 2 minutes from the judges. You cannot end it at 10. You had 5 more minutes. This is 5 more minutes of wealth to try and convince the judges that you guys did the effort, did the work, but you ended it very soon. That's 10 minutes. It's not the time, it's the quality of the work produced, everything, yes, but I'm telling you, when you have a presentation and you're given a certain amount of time, you have to do it exactly on the time, not more, and definitely not much less. When you think of it, 15 minutes, when you take away 5 minutes of it, then you really didn't use the amount of time or the way that we used to do it, okay? This is just as a general remark, especially that Simon asked for it. This is from us as a whole. I wish you guys all the best. I would leave the other judges, Eric and Mark, to give you more ideas about what they said, but this is just a main idea from the three of us. But thank you guys so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, do you want to go?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you guys very much. It was pretty good, and I definitely understood that you guys went through it. So so the feedback, I think the best feedback is how to kind of organize this in the future. I think I would do some dry runs before the competition, come up with a good thinking strategy on how to hit requirements, right? Because we have a list of 7 considerations that from the case study. You, in your presentation, you need to hit every single one of those things. Each one is almost directly scored. If you don't hit them all, you'll get almost a 0 on that category. And I think Henny mentioned it. You know, even if you don't have a representative from engineering on your team or a product designer, like this is kind of a both. The expectation of this was to have some level of product design and some rigor in engineering. You guys don't have that. You guys could have, I felt, spent a little time and just sketched something, whether it's by hand or whatever your capabilities are, just a concept idea to get something on paper mechanically, just in product design. And it doesn't have to have the engineering rigor. It doesn't have to have all the detail, but just an idea would have helped a lot. That's basically all I have. Great presentation. I think you guys have potential to move forward. Like I said, if you bring a engineering type onto your team, and then like I said, it's about formulating, looking at the case, breaking it up quickly, and assigning tasks to get the job done in 6 hours. Those are your keys. This doesn't work. So, Marc-André?
Yeah, so I mean, definitely considering the constraints, of this whole exercise, I think you guys did really well. I mean, it's obviously you've had great professors so far at JMSB, because at least one of you was my student, right, Nick, in 226. So, but more seriously, I mean, obviously, this is called ENGCOMM, right? So the Eng part is like, half the challenge. So not going in with at least one engineer on your team, obviously that's going to be a big problem. But you did okay. You did well. Was this your first time doing a case?
Yeah.
The case competition? Yeah. So, I mean, for a first time, you did okay, right? And you did well on the business part of it, right? But as Eric and Hani pointed out, you need some practice. You need to do a couple dry runs and prepare without necessarily reading a script, but at least have some preparation and sort of the key ideas, and exactly as was said, hit all of those things you're getting scored on, right? It doesn't matter, you don't have to spend an hour or 5 minutes on each thing, but definitely you want to make sure you touch all of them, and you want to make sure that the 2 that are the most highly rated, so the business portion and the engineering portion, that you definitely have something to show and something that addresses what's being looked at here. All right.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for all the comments and the suggestions, and I think we will be doing much more better and more prepared for the next time.
Yeah, and Nick, this is going to help you get good jobs, and it's going to help you get better offers when you graduate. So it's important to have this on your CV. This is like this is a really good thing that you're doing and participating.
And a big shout out to Dr. Leger, and by taking your summer course for 40, I actually pursuing my designation for CISA, and I'm actually
good to hear. Excellent.
So sorry to end the amazing discussion here. I would like to personally thank Team 10 for presenting. Although your setback, that was an amazing presentation. I really enjoyed listening to it. And as for the judges, thank you again for taking the time off your day to listen and judge the competition. So for now, we would ask the participants to leave and they would have to join on your schedule. You should have a link for the final. You guys should join at 5:15 and the judges would be at 5. So right now, I'm going to send in the chat a docs for the judge. So rather than like verbally discuss it, we also we have around like 10 minutes of leeway to discuss. But as for the docs, you can also like fill it in. I think Hani was the one judging the final. You can fill it in like while we're waiting for the participants to fill in at 5:15. So thank you guys. Once again, it was an honor being your timekeeper for Division 2. And I guess see you soon.
Yeah, thank you,
Take care.
Professor Goma. Thank you, Professor
Thank you for
Peterson.
the
Guys.